me to the big question this evening, because there's a lot that the former CEC said that the EC could have done and did not do. That prompts us also to ask certain questions. The CEC's defense convincing, or was it a tad bit confusing? Did the CEC hide more than what he revealed? Is the opposition discrediting the Election Commission of India for political gain by planting seeds of doubt in the minds of the voters? Election Commission's credibility clearly at stake. Does the onus now lie with the Election Commission? I want to immediately cut across to our guest this evening. Joining me, Neerja Chowdhury, political analyst, Jyoti Sennamalai, Congress MP, Sanju Verma, national spokesperson, Bharatiya Janata Party. Neerja, I'd like to begin with you, Ms. Chowdhury. We just heard the former CEC, and he point blankly made a point, Ms. Chowdhury, that the EC could have been a lot more transparent, to say politely, yesterday in the kind of questions that it answered.
I think that is correct. And, the election commissioner, the chief election commissioner and his colleagues are there as enforcers of a very fundamental right that the voters and citizens of India have to choose their rulers. What could be more fundamental than that? Often our democracy has been described as an electoral democracy because of the importance we give to elections and to the voter and his or her right to have free and fair elections. And the EC is supposed to ensure that. Now, if that has taken a knocking, if that is true, then that's not a very happy situation. I don't find it a happy situation that the battle becomes CEC versus Rahul Gandhi. It should never be like that. Even if Rahul Gandhi is making all kinds of wild charges, hypothetically speaking, I would have expected the Election Commission of India to say, we will look into every single one of them and get back to you. But this thing that came yesterday was not very, what to say, a happy situation to have the election commissioner talk about, politics being played, or, of course he said, Paksh and Vipaksh, we represent both. And that's what we expect of them. And we've seen election commissioners and their officials go to the furthest corners of India, scaling hills, going through rivers to make sure that that single voter out there gets his or her chance to vote. And the world has seen, the Election Commission of India conduct elections over decades. And we felt proud of that. If there, जैसे कहते हैं ना आँच भी आती है उस पे, then that's not a very happy situation. I hope the Election Commission will now defuse this situation and reassure the people, reassure all of us that it's going to be credible exercises. Whether it's SIR, the questions need to be asked and answered, and I think there's nothing wrong with that.
All right, Jyoti Sennamalai, the fact is, I'll just go on to what at least sources seem to suggest, that the opposition party, 8 of those that held that press conference this afternoon, are actually anticipating and would like to move an impeachment motion against the CEC. Is that correct?
So, we might, you come to know whenever we prepare, and it will definitely coming to the parliament. See, my point is, before me, Mr. Rawat has explained as someone who worked in the EC. Very well. I would like to put it 2-3 points. Yesterday, Neerja ji rightly said, it's not about Rahul Gandhi ji or the Congress party or the opposition parties. It's about every single voters, you and me as an individual going to polling booth thinking that my vote will make a difference. I will change this government or I will keep this government. But now that trust has completely eroded, because instead of people choosing a political party, here this election commission is choosing voters who will be in the voter list or who won't be in the voter list. That is actually basically demolish the idea of free and fair election, and it's a cruel joke on our democracy. The press conference, you also have asked point by point questions. I also would like to make 2-3 points on that. See, election commission, he keep on saying that affidavit. What is affidavit? A responsible political leader from a responsible political party coming to the press conference and put it on record. It's not from our document, it's an election commission document. Till now in the press conference, can election commission say the document produced by Mr. Rahul Gandhi ji is not their document, it's Congress party document? No, they can't say that because it's their document. So they own the they have to own the responsibility and tell us and tell the country, tell each and every single voters that yes, there might be some mistake, some discrepancies in the voter list. We will look into it. They have to call the respective BLOs by now. They have to summon the BLOs, summon the state election officer and ensure that voter list, wrong with the voter list. Instead of, they are kind of threatening Mr. Rahul Gandhi by saying you have to file the affidavit, otherwise we will send notice to you. Who care about your notice? We are not here to afraid of EC or anybody because we are speaking the truth. Because even the case of affidavit, the question of affidavit only arises when the electoral roll revision process is going on. If somebody's name is missing, he or she wishes to include his or her name, then only the affidavit speak. In this kind of situations, we are making a very strong allegation against the voter list fraud based on the very fact which we have proved, which we showed, entire country have seen it. This kind of situation, this kind of affidavit question is not arise. Election Commission is completely dishonest and misguiding the entire country.
I'll come back to you.
They have completely collided with BJP and they actually...
That's the charges and the allegations, Jyotimani, that your party makes along with 7 other political outfits, political parties. So I'll come back to you. I want to bring it...
Give me 30 seconds, I'm going to finish it. So
again, make your point.
Let me finish it. I'm just finishing it 30 seconds. So they are actually, by their own, they're spreading more lies in this press conference because they want to defend their fall. They completely gone with BJP. And in my view, 2024 election, we have won. That mandate is stolen from us by the BJP with the help of Election Commission. Election Commission want to hide that bitter truth. That is why now they are in the defensive. They are making...
those are allegations, yes. Those are allegations. You might feel...
With their press, they are more suspicious than ever.
Jyotimani, those are allegations. You might feel that you have won it, but ultimately, whatever the numbers were on the board, that's what's counted. And the result was very clear and definitive. I want to bring in Sanju Verma into this conversation. Sanju Verma, before we get into cliches of Godi media or Piddi media, I'm not saying it, madam. It came from the former CEC. You heard Mr. Rawat. And on questions, I can go one by one on every question, on what he answered. Number one, when he was asked about the notional number, house number 0 that was given, that was what was at least said in yesterday's press conference. Notional house number 0 is given to those who are homeless and live in slums. He says that doesn't quite happen. That's not precedent. So he debunked that, number one. Number two, he's of the opinion, and he's been the CEC not very far long, ma'am. You were in the same government when he was CEC. And the second thing, what he said, and I'll just give you 2 examples because I'm sure you heard that interview. The second thing, when asked on why should only Rahul Gandhi give the affidavit, why shouldn't the same affidavit be asked by Anurag Thakur, he made that very clear that it was the onus on the CEC, that the CEC comes out and makes things clear with immediacy at that point itself. Lots of glaring questions. Sanju Verma, I would reckon you'd agree.
Thank you, Preeti. Now, can I start? If you are done asking me a very pointed question, as you rightly should. Yes, I will get into that Godi media versus Piddi media, but I think right now we have more important things to discuss. Let me say this very clearly and very categorically. Shame on everybody from the Congress party and the opposition that is putting the Election Commission in the dockyard and saying that the 2024 Lok Sabha election was stolen. The mandate was stolen. If the mandate indeed was stolen, then we might as well have crossed 400 because hamara nara tha ab ki baar 400 par. Why would Smriti Irani have egg on her face losing Amethi after categorically declaring that, she will win Amethi second time in a row? But that's not the important point. A fabulous job by the Chief Election Commissioner, a fabulous job by Gyanesh Kumar. Hats off to him. And I say this for a reason. हलफनामा तो देना पड़ेगा और हलफनामा नहीं दिया तो माफी मांगनी पड़ेगी. तीसरा कोई विकल्प नहीं है. So yes, Rahul Gandhi, in the next 7 days starting yesterday, either give an affidavit under oath or be ready to apologize. Second point, everybody says, oh, 65 lakh voters were deleted. Arey, 65 lakh voters were deleted. Tab aapko dikkat hai. 30 lakh voters added in Maharashtra. Tab aapko dikkat hai. Maharashtra keeps coming into the picture. And a journalist. I don't know whether he's Godi or Piddi, but he certainly did not seem to be asking the right questions. But let me just say this for the benefit of your viewers. He said, महाराष्ट्र में 7.83% वोटर इंक्रीज हो गया 5 और 6 बजे के बीच में. इसके बारे में आप क्या कहेंगे ज्ञानेश कुमार जी? And not only Gyanesh Kumar, but G. Chokhalingam, the Maharashtra Election Commissioner, has said the average number of people who were voting till 5 p.m. in Maharashtra Assembly elections every single hour was 58 lakh voters. Between 5 to 6 p.m., only 32.5 lakh people voted in Maharashtra elections. So there was no spike. In fact, if anything, there was a fall. And if you're talking of the 7.83 odd people, by way of voter count that increased between 5 to 6 p.m. in Maharashtra, why are you not talking about the fact that voter count in Telangana increased by 11.8% between 5 and 6 p.m.? Voter count in Himachal Pradesh increased by 13.9% between 5 and 6 p.m. Voter count in Karnataka increased by 13.7% between 5 and 6 p.m. BJP lost Karnataka, Himachal and Telangana. We did not start painting the election commissioner with a black brush. But the final point is this. Let's be very clear. Today is 18th August. On the 1st of August, the draft electoral roll was made public. The Congress party has 17,549 BLAs on the ground in Bihar. Not a single claim filed, Preeti, not a single objection filed. And Rahul Gandhi, no, 1 minute, because, I still have some time. And Rahul Gandhi has the audacity to lecture the Election Commission. I want to ask you, and I repeat, Preeti, Rahul Gandhi started undermining the credibility of the Election Commission. Will he resign from Raebareli? Will Priyanka Vadra resign from Wayanad? Will Jyoti Mani resign from Karur in Tamil Nadu? Will Gaurav Gogoi resign from Assam? Will Manikam Tagore resign from Virudhunagar in Tamil Nadu? Will Manish Tiwari resign from Chandigarh? Yahan baitkar, you are pointing fingers at the Election Commission and you say, humko Samvidhan mein vishwas hai. The LOP is not a constitutional post. The Chief Election Commissioner post is a constitutional one under Article 324 of the Constitution. Shame on Rahul Gandhi.
Right, ma'am. Ma'am, the LOP is a statutory post. The CEC is a constitutional post. That is the distinction. But, once again, I'm going to take final interventions by all three of you. I'll go one by one. I want to bring in Neerja Chowdhury first. Neerja Chowdhury, ultimately, the fact is the issue is blowing up. It's EC against the opposition. Very rarely have we seen the kind of trust deficit that we have, which is now playing out, at least on the streets of Bihar. Do you see it stick, is my question. As a political analyst who's followed politics and, poll agendas, what do you make of it?
Look, yes, I have not seen such a trust deficit in the almost 40 to 50 years that I have covered politics. So much bitterness between the two sides, so much polarization on every issue that dialogue becomes impossible. And the credibility, I agree, absolutely, I couldn't agree more that the credibility of the Election Commission is as precious and a precious a thing as is the right of the voter to vote the way they want to. And I think it has been damaged, there's no doubt about that. How do you restore that? How do you create a dialogue? How do you use restraint in language, which I think has just gone? Whether it's outside Parliament or inside Parliament or in our discourse. So those are unfortunate things. I don't know how we go about it. But the future of our democracy will depend on our ability to bridge this polarization and gaps and this bitterness that has crept in between the ruling side and the opposition side.
Jyoti Maniji, you wanted to come in with Sanju Vermaji on what she said, a rebuttal, but let me ask you a question.
Yeah,
the Congress has
Preeti,
been very quick.
Both sides.
Ma'am, allow me to just ask you one question. Allow me to ask you also one question, because the Congress has been very quick to constantly quote the Supreme Court as well when it comes down to past precedents. The fact is, you're demanding electronic machine-readable data, but the Supreme Court in 2019, madam, clearly ruled against this, citing voter privacy concerns.
See, Preeti, just before going into that, you call both sides, it's fair to give equal time. Just cut short somebody's time and giving more time to someone, it's not fair.
Ma'am, so I will time it if you think I cut you short. I will time it.
Whatever Supreme...
Go ahead, ma'am. Make your point.
Yeah, thank you. See, irrespective of Supreme Court, what they said or they don't, see, there is a practice for many years now. The Election Commission used to give a physical voter to political parties and candidates. And if they have given a digital voter list minus photo. This is the practice. Now, yesterday election commissioner press conference, again they lied regarding this. They are saying the photo will be tweaked. Generally, whatever the electronic data we are getting from the election commission, it won't be, there is no photo in it. That itself a pretty lie. Second thing, they are saying that there are people without house will have a zero number. I have been handling voter list more than 25 years now. There is no precedence that there will be a zero number in the people who do not have houses. And also that maybe zero, you are saying you named them address zero. They don't have parents. How the parents' name is like A, Z, M, M, Y, X, Y, Z. So nobody can ask that question. So simply Election Commission is lying. Actually, they are completely compromised the Election Commission in the BJP, in favor of BJP. Now they caught red-handed. Their credibility is completely gone. We are also worried about that Election Commission credibility gone, because Election Commission has built this country's democracy for ages. No political party, not only Congress, no political party before this have ever charged the Election Commission in this manner. Now we have proved the Election Commission made fraud in the voter list without any doubt. It's up to the Election Commission now to come clean and explain to the voters and take the full responsibility and correct themselves. Otherwise, actually, we are heading to a very, very difficult times, difficult situation, because democracy means every vote counts. But the Election Commission says, I will decide who vote or not vote. I will decide the voter list. The voter list will be fake. The voter list will be fraudulent. Then it's a problem. It's onus is on the Election Commission, not on the Rahul Gandhi ji or the Congress party or the opposition party. We are putting some facts which is very truthful in front of the people, in front of the country, in front of the Election Commission. But now it's up to the Election Commission and people to decide. We all have to come together. It's not the fight between BJP and Congress. It's a fight for our democracy, the fight for free and fair elections. This is not tu me game. We all have to concern about election, because we are all fighting election. We are
I'll
voting.
stop
we are
now.
all voting
You've
in
spoken
election.
for 2 minutes,
It's our collective
30 seconds.
responsibility to come for a
2 minutes, 30 seconds, and I will give exactly
Thank
the
you.
same time to Sanju Verma ji, which is 2 minutes, 30 seconds. I'm timing it. But Sanju Verma, I'll ask that, I asked a question of Jyoti Mani ji. I'll ask the same question, which was answered by the former CEC, whom, by the way, was a CEC during your term only. And he said, number one, no notional numbers like zero were ever given in the past. So the EC yesterday did say that notional numbers are given like zero. Number one. Number two, the same thing, when it comes down to an affidavit, why not Anurag Thakur sign the same affidavit that is demanded of Rahul Gandhi today? You wanted to also come in for a rebuttal? Go, ma'am, your time begins now.
Okay, thank you, Preeti. Glad to hear my time begins now. I want to just make a couple of things very clear. The entire opposition said Aadhaar should be, taken as conclusive evidence. The Supreme Court said Aadhaar is not conclusive evidence. The entire opposition said SIR is undemocratic. The Supreme Court said the Election Commission has the powers to do what it is doing, and if the Election Commission does not conduct SIR, who will? Then the entire opposition said periodic voter roll revision is hypocrisy and a fallacy. And the Supreme Court said periodic voter roll revision is a must. So my limited point is, my way or the highway is what the opposition believes in. They believe the Supreme Court when it suits their narrative. They don't believe the Supreme Court when it does not suit their narrative. The second point, Maharashtra keeps coming up, in the narrative. Between the Lok Sabha and Assembly elections of 2004, the voter count in Maharashtra went up by 4.7%, the Congress won. In the 2009 Lok Sabha and Assembly elections in Maharashtra, between that period, the voter count went up by 4.4%, the Congress won. Now in 2024, between Lok Sabha and Maharashtra Assembly elections, the voter count went up by 4.1%, but the entire opposition is saying Maharashtra election was stolen. That shows that they either don't understand numbers or they are like the proverbial ostrich with their head under the sand. My final point is this, Preeti. What the Election Commission said, सच सुनने की क्षमता होनी चाहिए और सच समझने की भी क्षमता होनी चाहिए. Democracy does not fail when the Congress party loses an election. Democracy fails when the Congress party refuses to accept that it is losing one election after another. And with due respect to Neerja Chaudhary ji, who I have deep respect for, she said she's never seen in the last 40, 50 odd years the kind of trust deficit that exists now. All I can say is that, if I go back to history and read, and I think data does not lie by and large, the biggest trust deficit was when T.N. Seshan, who was serving as cabinet secretary under Rajiv Gandhi, was made CEC. When M.S. Gill, who was the CEC from 1990 to 1996, was made the Union Sports Minister in 2008. And when Sonia Gandhi, without a constitutional position, Ms. Chaudhary, appointed Naveen Chawla as the CEC. And by the way, Naveen Chawla was the CEC when the Congress was declared the winner in the
You've spoken for 2 minutes,
election.
30 seconds, and I'm going to, it's a hard cut. Neerja ji, I could have come back for a rebuttal because you were asked a few questions, but I'm sorry, I've completely run out of time. I appreciate all three ladies for joining us.